Welcome back to True Story with John Gibson. Today's guest is Olivier Murad. Thank you, my brother.
It's a pleasure to be on your show. I appreciate that, John.
Hey, my pleasure to have you. First and foremost, I just have to come right out of the chute with it. You're fresh off the UFC reality series, Dana White looking for a fight. Can you just share that experience? I mean, I know the end result, but obviously I don't know the experience behind the experience. So what was that like, man?
It was an interesting experience. I was thrilled for the moment. I was ready for the moment, psychologically, physically. When I got to Vegas, everything started kind of just going off. Everything was right, but it's like everything was a bit off, nervous, anything. But for some reason, I couldn't sleep. I tried this new weight cutting style, and maybe my metabolism was running too fast. But it's like I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. Yeah, I tried everything. That feeling when you hit the bed and you're completely exhausted, that you're gonna fall asleep.
Yeah,
I was in that limbo, nonstop for almost 4 days. So then,
4 days.
Right. So then, we're in the back getting ready for the fight, and I'm yawning, and my coaches are looking at me like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I gotta wake up. I'm here trying to slap my face. When I was in the cage, I tried to amp myself again, and then I just felt tired. So what you saw that night in the Contender series, that was just a shadow of who I am, pretty much, because pretty much everything that I do naturally, I was making mistakes. Like, for instance, I kept on throwing my cross and stepping forward with my back leg, overcompensating in a sense. And it happened consistently. I think that happened almost 10, 15 times. I almost knocked out Z-Bin a handful of times, and I couldn't even get up. I felt off. For some reason, I felt fatigued in the second round after coming off a 5-round fight with Naimov, and I was ready to go for more. I was ready to go for more than 5 rounds. So jumping to the Contender series against an opponent that, no disrespect to Z-Bin, but Naimov was a far more gamed opponent.
Right.
Yeah, from my perspective. So it's I don't know, maybe it was just the whole emotion of everything, but it was a great wake up call, because I felt like I was on this wave of just victory after victory.
Right.
It was a good wake up call that I need to do more behind the scenes than just performing in the cage.
Wow. Well, I think you're being way too hard on yourself. Way too hard on yourself. You had a great performance. Spoiler alert for anyone who doesn't know already. He won. So, he's being really self-critical there. But I understand this is your life, your livelihood. So that you take this very seriously, and you're being very analytical of yourself, which is a good thing. But he did really well. It was super impressive. But you did touch on something. You're right. We can kind of maybe transition to that a little bit. Your Titan FC fights, and your championship there. You've definitely had some pretty game opponents in the past. You're going to kind of speak to winning your first championship?
Oh, man. When I defeated Naimov, that was actually me winning my second professional title.
It was? Wow.
Yeah, do you want to know about the story of my first belt?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Talk about overcoming endeavors. So this was becoming my third professional fight, right?
Okay.
I just had a son. He's roughly about 6 months old. I'm not sure if you're a father. Are you a father?
Oh, I am. Yes. Yeah. Proud father.
So you know about the sleepless nights. It hits immediately. As soon as they're born, that's it. Your sleep is deprivated. I wasn't getting a lot of fights. So then I started working for Red Bull. I would go into work at 5 in the morning, and I wouldn't get home till maybe about 5 in the afternoon. And then I'd go to practice. So I wouldn't even see my son awake. I'm exhausted. I'm running errands, and I was barely training. So then 2 weeks prior to the title fight, my manager was like, man, do you really want to take this fight? Because if you do, you're in a very tough position. If you keep on working the way you are, then it's not going to be a good idea. So I had an ultimatum. It was either I keep working and I cancel the bout for the belt, or I quit.
Wow. I love it. Wow. You bet on yourself. Yeah.
I did. So I told Red Bull, I'm resigning effective immediately. And then trained my butt off for that fight. Same thing. I went into that fight. I was off. I wasn't myself. I was kind of gassed out by the beginning of the second. And then I kept on getting taken down, which is weird. I have really good wrestling defense and offense, but for some reason, sometimes I get taken down. but you'll see Olympic wrestlers, they struggle against me,
Mm-hmm.
which is ironic.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I pulled off a second round armbar. And then
Yeah. Well, your game is, let's talk a little bit about that, man, and some of your training, coaching, your background, all that, like just as a fan, I've seen a couple of your fights online, and was watching a couple of previous interviews and all that stuff. I was like, I like this guy. He's got like a good, I don't know, good karma, good sense of humor. But yeah, so anyway, so I was, checking out some of your fights, and you are very diversified. I mean, I think that's you're super well-rounded, and like, you're kind of like, you're a really good blueprint, in my opinion, what an MMA athlete should be. Like, you're right there. You won on the Contender season, series for a reason. You're right there and you're ready. And it's interesting because I'm kind of this previous old guard where everybody came in with a style. They were a specialist in something and then they learned everything else. Maybe they became a blue belt or whatever, Man, you're really well-rounded. You got good kickboxing. You'll throw a knee. You'll throw an elbow like some Muay Thai. You're super explosive. You have good counter wrestling. And then your stand-up's awesome. So, like, what was, I guess, who are some of your coaches? Who do you train with? Who do you attribute that to?
Oh, man, from the moment I started wrestling to every type of boxing coach I came across. But ideally, I got to give it up to the wrestling coach that started me off, Nestor Verona. Big shout out to Garage Boys Wrestling, Emilio Condis, my high school wrestling coach, Chris Perez, another high school wrestling coach. I got to give it up to Manuel Lopez. You see this guy all over the UFC. He's always in the corner. Well, he was in the corner of Yoel Romero, Alex Caceres, Mike Rio. The list goes on.
Yeah.
And Raymond Fondora for my jiu-jitsu. He's always been there. That guy, these coaches, they truly care about the fighter. They're more passionate about the fighter and the fight game rather than being business oriented. They're never distracted by finances. They're always core focused on making sure they build quality fighters.
Awesome. I mean, it's having a team is huge, and steel. What do they say? Steel sharpens steel, right? Like you gotta train with the best to be the best. Like, yeah. That's amazing. So I guess what attracted you initially to MMA? I mean, it sounds like you had some high school wrestling and some wrestling like as a core fundamental sport, but what made you want to go into actual combat?
It was just a natural connection.
Okay.
Combat aspect of wrestling to like, whoa, okay, because wrestling is a fight with rules. You basically can't punch. You can crossface, slam,
sure.
and restrict people, torque people. And then MMA, I don't know, it was just like, wow. I'm here in like, I think I was in like 11th grade. I was like, wow, I really want to do this. I saw GSP regain his belt against Matt Serra and Anderson Silva gain a belt against Rich Franklin. And then, it was an instant click.
What a fun time in this sport too. Yeah, I understand. How inspiring. Yeah, absolutely, man. Wow. And you're in a good kind of hotbed of MMA talent too. You're in Southern Florida. Is that correct?
Agreed.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's another great place.
We have a big issue in South Florida because I feel like the quality of talent down here, it's impeccable. The only thing is we're always fighting each other rather than competing against people around the world. So then sometimes you see fighters out of South Florida, they might have losing records, but then when you see the people that they're fighting against, they're no slouch.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's true. And there's so many good camps there. Exactly. So much talent is there. And yeah, it's true, So, I mean, what's the grand plan? I mean, UFC's the likely next step, or do you have another bout signed in the meantime or anything like that going on?
That's the problem. So the goal is the UFC. Dana White mentioned that he wants to see me get another fight or two. I would love to get another fight or two. But to be honest, the story of my career is nobody wants to fight me. Like I've so far since I fought Zibin, I've had going on 24 fighters. 24 fighters declined against me. And I'm talking about these fighters are 0-4, 7-0, 6-1, 6-2, 7-2, 14-4. The list goes on, and it's frustrating. That's been my situation since I was an amateur. So
yeah, I can't imagine. I can only, I mean, I can't empathize. I can be sympathetic, I guess, but you're so talented. You're dangerous. You're a dangerous opponent. So these guys fear you. So I understand that. But yeah, man, we can't get better unless we get out there. So let's get this man a fight, people. Someone's got to step up. I'm sure there's someone out there.
Thank you. Hopefully this podcast is going to be that ticket where like one of these organizations is going to give me a call, because we've been trying for LFA. We've been trying for Showtime Pettis' new show.
That, yeah,
we're trying to get on that card.
Cool organization.
Who else? CFFC. We're trying to get on. Like basically, we're targeting all of the shows the top shows that are on UFC Fight Pass. But
yeah,
man,
I mean, this is a great time for you because you are coming off the hype of the fight on the show. So you have like there's some notoriety in that, I think, for sure. If somebody's smart, they would look at that as a really good opportunity, for themselves too. They should jump on that.
I really hope people notice some flaws in my last fight, so they can be like, I can beat that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I understand. Do you think that maybe some of the adrenaline? Well, there was definitely some sleep deprivation. You didn't sleep 4 days going into the fight, but do you think maybe there was somewhat of an adrenaline dump just fighting on that stage also that made you so tired, or do you think it was just more the exhaustion of not sleeping?
A little bit of both, because I felt like that first round I was kind of jumping the gun. I was moving a bit faster than the pace I should have been keeping at. Like my momentum was a bit too much.
Yeah.
And then, I probably dealt with an adrenaline dump going towards the end of the second round. The confidence was still there. Just I don't know. Definitely the adrenaline jump.
Yeah, I mean, I just imagine it has to play a part. Big lights, big camera. Still, they have the presence of like a live audience, but Dana's there. Like, it doesn't get more real, right?
Yeah, I tried to go for I think it's called an asotagari, where you have the overhook and you go to kick the leg out. It was a stupid position. It was like in my head I was thinking like, Dana, let me do something flashy. And then,
yeah, exactly.
Body lock.
Yeah, no, but I get it. You want to set yourself apart. You want to stand out. You're on the stage. You might as well try to make the most of it. But the thing is, people need to understand it's a fight. It's real time. Like anything can happen, Yeah, for sure. Amazing. So, I guess you'd mentioned this earlier too. And I watching some of your fights, reviewing, there was a little bit of a gap. So you touched on it. I guess that was around the time your son was born and you were kind of like getting your routine back together. But I had no idea you had your title fight on 2-week notice.
Yeah. That first belt was on a 2-week notice. As for the Naimov fight, I had a solid month to prepare for it.
Yeah. Which is still like, I mean, that's good. But like, in a perfect world, maybe you'd have a 6-week camp, 8-week camp.
Right. I've never had a 6-week camp. Now that you mentioned it,
never. Yeah. I really admire like fighters and all that. And just going into a fight, making it to a fight healthy. People don't understand that journey and how hard and difficult it is just to make it there healthy. And then you make weight and those things, and then the anxiety of going, fighting somebody. Like I don't think people give fighters nearly enough credit.
No.
Yeah.
And, one thing that I believe that sets me apart from a lot of fighters is that I love to do this. So I've been noticing this, ever since I was an amateur. Like you see fighters kind of just frozen, like they're basically shitting bricks, and then everyone's nervous. I'm thinking like, yo, this is what people signed up for. This is what they want to do. They should like all their hard work is finally paying off.
Yeah.
How can you panic at the moment of triumph?
Yeah.
Like why sacrifice all these years and time to panic when the moment comes?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just your mental fortitude. And you're right, though. It's in your blood. You were in 11th grade going, I want to do this. It was something you knew you had a passion for, so it's who you are. Do you think that again, if you had a magic wand, right, and you could just do this thing the perfect way, and you could do this perfectly, is there an out plan? Do you want to be out by 35, or do you want to, get your world championship, defend it 10 times? Do you have an ultimate kind of desire goal in mind?
You actually said it right off the back. I want to be done with the sport by 35. I definitely have the skill set, and I definitely have the persona to really, really make a big impact in the sport.
Yeah.
I have a lot of plans, and MMA is already clicking into it. I have a personal training business that's thriving, thank God, and I have a few more outlets. I have some charity. I'm actually in the process of making, because I want to give back to fighters.
Awesome.
And plus, I want to be able to run after my grandchildren.
Right.
I don't want to, deal with any type of permanent, health. I don't want to be having no fight at 40 years old.
Right.
Sport is far too dangerous to be fighting at 40 years old.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, for sure. I'm 38 and I'm so broken down. Like I look at these guys like Ken Shamrock and these guys that fought into their 50s, and I'm like, I have no idea how they did it. Like,
right.
No idea. Yeah. Well, awesome. Yeah, and I'm with that too. I want every fighter to be able to come in, make an impact, fulfill their dream, whatever that may be, and then get out healthy, like as healthy as possible. Yeah. Play with your grandkids. Yeah. And so that's awesome. So you have a thriving personal training business too. That's great, man. So is it all online? Do you do coaching? Do you do in training person?
I do in-person training. I also do online training for people who are out of the States. Pretty much I touch up on self-defense, conditioning, and toning. Can you believe that a chiropractor came to me with back pain? He had almost 2 years of back pain, talking about he's always leaning over clients, trying to get them adjusted. And I was able to correct his back within a few weeks just through stretches and just certain just basic workouts with dumbbells. And then within 2 weeks, he was good. It's been over a year. He said he never had back pain since.
Wow. I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's amazing. And it must honestly make you a better fighter that you have an understanding of like human anatomy and musculature and what you're training and why. And I mean, it just must make you more cerebral altogether, I imagine.
Agreed. It allows me to bring a more patient approach to the game.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm a very safe fighter in a sense. Like don't get me wrong, I'm a taker, but I calculate my risks. Right. So far I've had 12 fights. 13 fights. And no scars. I barely even have collie feet.
Yeah, it's interesting though. But you are for sure. But but you also can throw. So it's like you're still dynamic. You're not like boring. Like like a GSP. Yeah, no, you're super dynamic. Yeah. But yeah, that's it. But you're right. You're not messed up. 13 fights. That says something. I've seen 6, I think. Yeah, that's awesome, man. So with that, with the training business, where can people reach out? Is Instagram, or do you have a website, Facebook or something, if people have inquiries?
Yeah, definitely contact me through my Instagram, Real Warrior of God. Just like that. No dot. It's just Real Warrior of God. DM me and then we can get something going.
Awesome. And I'll include the link here as well and all the subsequent links and everything in case people want to check it out there too. Man, last but not least, I want to give you kind of the opportunity. Any last words? Is there any, again, shout outs or any last words you'd like to leave for anybody? Yeah,
definitely. Dana White, Sean Shelby. Yeah, I'm trying to look for a fight. I'm trying, but nobody wants to fight the kid. Everyone's terrified. So, I'm going to be ready. Actually, I am ready. I'm sharp. Like I said, that last fight on the Contender Series was just a shadow of myself. I'm ready to perform and I'm ready to dominate. I'm ready to do what I do naturally all day, every day.
I can't wait to see it. Awesome.
Another shout out to the brand Felt, always making sure that I'm in comfortable gear. Very fly. It's Miami based, and also big shout out to Dynamic Wellness. They've been supporting me throughout my health and nutrition since I made my pro debut. And then Axe Trailers, high quality commercial equipment. Get it while it's hot.
Amazing. Awesome, man. Yeah, support those that support him. This man is living a dream, and a dream is not cheap. So you guys help him fulfill that dream. Thank you so much again for coming on the show. I learned a lot, man, and I can't wait. I will be watching. I'm going to do everything I can to help get you a fight. Again, thank you so much for finding the time.
I appreciate that, John. You have a blessed day.
You too. Take care, brother.